the director of Taqwacore.
Taqwacore, the birth of Punk Islam.
Yeah. What is Taqwacore?
Well, Taqwacore is a word that basically describes a new subculture that's been emerging, which is basically a short way of describing this, like basically like Punk Islam or Muslim punk scene. And the word Taqwacore comes from a mixture of two things. Taqwa is an Arabic word which means God consciousness. And core is like the sort of the suffix that they put at the end of like punk genres, like hardcore, that kind of thing. So this is Taqwacore.
That's one of the things I thought was neat about the film, is that we usually hear of multiculturalism and then we hear of counterculturalism. And as I was watching this film, I felt this was multi-counterculturalism. You know,
yeah, sure.
where the film starts off in America and kind of follows some of the bands that are involved in this movement.
It's also showing that there is a lot of plurality and diversity within Islam that people don't recognize.
Well, even within the group within the film, there seem to be a lot of diverse people who seem to really tack on to this movement.
Absolutely. The great thing about Taqwacore is it sort of is a magnet for all kinds of misfit Muslims out there.
And then the film took a different turn when then it started. The first half starts in America, and then it goes almost to the other half for Pakistan.
Yes.
In terms of more the Islamic roots of everything.
Yes.
Explain what that was like.
Well, I mean, it all happened very organically. I had no idea when we were filming that this was going to be the case. As I said, working with punks, you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. But the kind of the main characters I focus on in the film is this white convert, Michael Muhammad Knight, who kind of inspired this whole idea. And I focus on these this one group that's sort of at the forefront of it all, this group called the Kaminas, who are these two kids from Boston, of Pakistani background. So these guys decided to go back to Pakistan and try doing what they were doing in the States over there in Pakistan. And Michael, the white convert who wrote the book, he decided that he wanted to go and check that out. And he had also had business in Pakistan when he was a teenager, because when he had first converted to Islam, he went to Pakistan to study. So it was sort of a nice convergence of a bunch of different sort of storylines there that I saw.
Including your own.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Exactly, because I'm also from a Pakistani background.
Well, as I was watching the film, that was one of the things I picked up on, where I remember one of the older gentlemen we met in Pakistan said, I think it was Allah is a dervish. And my mind immediately went to the Quakers. You know, because that was like a big thing of their dancing, and that was a big working out. And then I forget what, at some point somebody had said to Michael, you need to go into the desert.
Yes.
And just like studying along, you know, Christianity has that, but so many other religious traditions and mythical traditions have that time in the desert. And what was neat for what I really appreciated, one of the things I appreciated about the film, was that some of the other films we're seeing is people kind of coming to terms with, for lack of a better term, their darker side, or the parts they struggle with, or you know, and at the end how he kind of used that time in Pakistan in the film to kind of take a look at some parts of himself.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating thing for Michael, who's often very much credited as being the kind of the spiritual godfather of this whole Taqwacore thing, and I think that doubt is an important aspect of all kinds of endeavors that you do. You know, so for Michael, I think it was a really fascinating to watch him. And even the band as well, as they tried their, you know, there was a lot of optimism on the American side because these guys were doing this, and it was, you know, it was really, there was a momentum that was building. But in Pakistan, it's a very different climate where you're dealing with, you know, bombs going off at times, and even though there's all these really kind of cool sects and stuff like that, there is still like, you know, a corrupt government regime, and there is still like fundamentalism to deal with. So there's challenges that are overwhelming. Yeah. And I think all of them kind of fell into a moment of like, I don't know if this is gonna, you know, they're young kids and they were feeling like overwhelmed. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think that was fascinating to sort of see them struggle. And I think through that, I mean, they come to a good place. Yeah.